one of the famous fighters of his generation fighting in one of the famous stadiums in the world. Can you imagine being AJ right now? A lot of pressure too, though. Don't get it twisted. You've got to perform in front of 96,000 of your closest friends.
But mamma mia, Rosie, a social media sensation turned boxer has turned the sport on its ear. This is incredible. And what must be going through this 27-year-old mind, like so many members of his generation, dealing with mental health?
The Jake Paul vs. Anthony Joshua matchup has ignited heated debate among boxing experts. Most predict Joshua would dominate due to his size, power, and elite heavyweight experience. His Olympic background and history of knockouts give him a clear advantage. While Jake Paul has improved defeating MMA fighters and fringe boxers, he has never faced a top-tier, world-class heavyweight. Analysts suggest Paul's only real chance is landing an early unexpected punch, but Joshua's discipline, jab, and ring IQ would likely control the fight. Many foresee a one-sided Joshua stoppage within a few rounds. As a spectacle, it's entertaining, but pros overwhelmingly favor Joshua.
Nikita, a few times on it. I mean, there's nothing to report to you that it's close or, there's a lot of hoops to jump through. Of course, AJ is exclusive to DAZN. We also work very closely with His Excellency, and although we have no contract with him, we're in talks for big fights next year, of course, Tyson Fury being one of them. So we'd definitely give him the respect of making sure that he was aware of the plan and, part of that plan as well. But at the moment, there's nothing major to report on that. Would we take the fight? Absolutely. I think Jake would be... my estimations of Jake Paul would go through the roof if he signs to fight Anthony Joshua, because I just can't believe in my mind that he would do something like that. Gervonta was a smart one because of his size. I think actually he would have had a lot of success against Jake Paul, but the size is a problem. But this would just be, if Jake Paul was to take the fight with AJ, you'd really have to maybe carry his balls in a wheelbarrow on the ring walk, because AJ wouldn't mess around in there, so it would be huge, but nothing to tell you it's close. Just
the highly anticipated fight between Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua is officially set for December 19, 2025, at the Casa Center in Miami, with global streaming on Netflix. This isn't an exhibition, it's a fully sanctioned professional heavyweight bout under Queensberry rules, 8 3-minute rounds with standard gloves. To level the playing field, Joshua has agreed to a contracted weight limit of 245 pounds, unusually low for him. With both fighters putting their records on the line, this high-stakes clash promises real consequences. Knockouts and a definitive result are entirely possible, making this a must-watch event for boxing fans worldwide.
Yes, it's really happening. Jake Paul will face the two-time unified heavyweight world champion Anthony Joshua on Friday, December the 19th in Miami, Florida. It's going to be an 8-round fight with 3-minute rounds and 10-ounce gloves. It's Joshua's first fight since being knocked out by Daniel Dubois in September last year. Jake Paul won a unanimous decision against veteran Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. earlier this year. Well, Jake Paul said this: a professional heavyweight fight against an elite world champion in his prime. When I beat Anthony Joshua, every doubt disappears and no one can deny me the opportunity to fight for a world title. To all my haters, this is what you wanted. To the people of the United Kingdom,
boxing fans and experts have weighed in on Jake Paul's challenge to Anthony Joshua. Many consider Paul's ambition to face a seasoned heavyweight like Joshua unrealistic, viewing the matchup as overly ambitious.
Anna Serrano, that's right, the real deal, respond to me as I tweeted my thoughts about delusion, which again, I think is more about what Jake said about Anthony Joshua and what he'll do to him. That was the more delusional aspect of this. Amanda Serrano said, at Jake Paul is the truth. Funny, they say he's a fraud for wanting easy fights, then he asked for the toughest fights ever and they say he's nuts. Listen, he was scheduled to fight Canelo Gervonta, and now he's calling out Joshua. Come on, who else is doing this? Oh crap, on second thought, he is out of his freaking mind. You're right. That was more of just Amanda backing her guy, you know what I'm saying? The co-founder of MVP.
Dave Ellen strongly warns that Anthony Joshua risks damaging his reputation by agreeing to fight Jake Paul. He argues that even if Paul lands a clean shot, it could undermine everything Joshua has built in his career. Ellen sees the matchup as more entertainment than sport and doubts Joshua would genuinely want to take such a risk. Many serious boxing fans, he suggests, would view the fight as a step down, and Joshua could lose respect within the boxing community if he faces a YouTuber-turned-boxer like Paul. For Allen, the risks outweigh the spectacle.
Paul lost to Tommy Fury. Anthony Joshua cannot box Jake Paul. Horrific. He's dangerous for one, and two, if Jake Paul even lands a glove on him, it just diminishes everything that he's achieved. Jake Paul won't last 2 minutes for me. Never mind Anthony Joshua. It's ridiculous. It's a joke.
If AJ does say yes to going in against Jake Paul, does he harm his legacy?
I would lose a bit of respect for him, and I think a lot of boxing people would as well, to be honest. Why would he box him? 2-time heavyweight champion of the world, one of the best heavyweights the last 20 years, held British boxing on his back. People might say he deserves to box Jake Paul. Why though? Why would he do it?
Did you lose respect from when he fought in Ngannou? Did you lose respect from Fury when he fought in Ngannou?
Ngannou's a serious fighting man. World champion in the mixed martial art.
It's a worrying thing, potentially, the damage that AJ could do to Jake Paul.
He'll hurt him. Yeah, Jake Paul is a cruiserweight. You wouldn't put the Midlands area cruiserweight champion in with Anthony Joshua, so why would you put Jake Paul in there? Just because he's a superstar, whatever. I don't know what he does. What does he do? What is he?
A YouTuber.
It's just not worth it. He's got enough money as it is. Why risk all that for a few more quid? I don't like it. I hope it don't happen. I don't think Anthony Joshua
As the
will do
fight
it.
is set to be an official bout rather than an exhibition, Roy Jones JRB has expressed skepticism about Jake Paul becoming a legitimate world champion. He doubts Paul's ability to win a meaningful title, noting that Paul has largely avoided truly battle-tested opponents. Jones believes that if Paul steps up to face high-level, experienced boxers, those fighters would defeat him. While he concedes that Paul could eventually get a title shot, it would only happen under highly favorable circumstances. Overall, Jones JRB remains doubtful about Paul's chances of walking away with a real championship.
Paul become a world champion? No. Why?
I think if they make him fight tough opponents, guys with experience, those guys will beat him. Now, if you catch somebody like myself at the end of their career, or somebody like Tyson, he caught at the end of their career, the chances are much higher. Because now it becomes more of a 50-50. You got a guy who's better than him, but the age factor. You understand me? And that's the only way to balance it for him to make it a 50-50 fight. Yeah. Somebody who's on his level at the same age, those guys have too much experience. Yeah. You understand me? So he's not gonna beat those guys. But you find a guy who is past his prime, who has the mentality further than his, but past the prime, it kind of evens the stakes.
Anthony Joshua's promoter, Eddie Hearn, has dismissed Jake Paul's boxing skills, calling him an average fighter. Hearn questions whether Paul can compete at the highest level, especially against someone like Joshua. While acknowledging Paul's improvements over time, he insists Paul is still far from the elite level required to face top-tier heavyweights.
It looks like Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul might be in discussions to fight. They were both on a call to each other earlier, and the viral video went around of Jake Paul saying he would knock out Anthony Joshua. If I'm being completely honest, I think Jake Paul would actually be lucky to make it out alive, and I'm actually being dead serious. I think Jake Paul will be lucky to make it out of the ring with Anthony Joshua alive. Tyron Woodley literally had Jake Paul on skates and had Jake Paul panicking for his life. Imagine what Anthony Joshua would do. Look at what Joshua did to the last non-boxer he fought in France, in Ngannou. That is not going to end well for Jake Paul. But look, let's be real here. This fight should never happen. It's an absolute disgrace to the sport if it does. And yeah, there's got to be a lot of backlash if this actually happens, because it's actually probably worse to the sport of boxing than what Fury in Ngannou was when it came around, or or Mayweather McGregor.
Eddie Hearn also criticized Jake Paul for making outrageous claims, including suggesting he could beat Canelo Alvarez. Hearn called the idea insane, saying Paul is seriously overestimating his abilities. While Paul has defeated former MMA fighters and lesser experienced boxers, the notion that he could challenge world-class fighters like Canelo or Anthony Joshua is considered laughable by many boxing experts.